The next problem with representation has to do with the fact that there is a lot of evil in the world. There's also a lot of false statements that people make. There are certainly lots of false statements on the web, and lots of people who have a vested interest in promoting these false statements. If we say we want to be representative, well, we probably want to be representative of things that are incorrect and things that are malicious, just as much as we are representative of all that is true and all that is good. Well, we might say, but we really don't want to have evil stuff in our system. And perhaps we could build filters to take out things that are evil or things that are not true. And the problem here is that it isn't so easy to define filtering criteria. There might be things that we universally agree are evil, but there are lots of things that reasonable people disagree about with regard to whether they're evil or not. Certainly, there are lots of things that reasonable people disagree about the veracity of. And so, yes, to some extent, one might be able to fix the most egregious things, but a lot of these things are not so easy to fix. Another issue with representation is different points of view are not equally represented, or for that matter, different races or ethnicities are not equally represented in terms of the population of people or in terms of statements on the web or whatever is the universe that we're building our data sets from. Now, what this means is that small minorities might actually get ignored because what they say or do or the way they behave is very limited or has very limited support as a standard pattern in the data set. And so proportionate representation is insufficient if we care about small minorities in our population. And so we actually need to overrepresent them in our training data or overweight them in our pattern learning if we're going to be truly inclusive and truly able to manage the correct amount of diversity that we have in the world. Everything that I said about representation applies irrespective of the type of data. It applies whether the data we're dealing with are numbers that we're getting from measurements that we made, or we're getting them from text statements that people had, say on social media, or whether we get them from images that we scraped from the web. There might be some minor differences in the details of exactly how we define representation or how we measure what is being represented and so on. But at the basic level that we are discussing these issues right now, they apply equally to text, images, numbers, and whatever other type of data you can imagine are being used as training data in the AI systems that we built.